Heartwarming Millionaire discovers incredible truth after ignoring food cry. Are you my father? Jake Thompson strutted through his affluent Chicago suburb, the sun casting a golden glow on his glossy sports car parked in the driveway. The lawns sparkled, each one a testament to the meticulousness of the neighborhood. But just as he was about to retreat into the bubble of his luxury, a haunting sound billowed through the calm, the soft cry of a hungry child drifting from the local food pantry. At first, he brushed it off. After all, he had emails to answer and stock options to manage. Yet, as he turned away, that cry burrowed into his conscience, gnawing at him with an unsettling grip. The echo lingered long into the evening, a dark cloud shadowing his victory-laden life. A pang of guilt washed over him, igniting a long-dormant sense of responsibility he thought he'd shed with his teenage years. That weekend, as the sun peaked above the horizon, Jake found himself standing in front of the food pantry, a vestige of warmth and hope amid the sprawling suburban glamour. The smell of warm bread wafted through the air, mingling with the dust and disarray that surrounded the place. As he donned a volunteer apron, he felt an unfamiliar weight lifting off his shoulders. It was there he met Ella. She stood in line, her weary eyes carrying the weight of the world. A single mother with dreams and worries etched across her face, she struck a chord in Jake's tired heart. They began sharing stories, laughter punctuated by the sobering reality that echoed around them. For the first time in years, Jake felt the heartbeat of his community, as Ella's resilience and sheer grit illuminated the truths he'd buried under piles of cash and ambition. Before long, Jake was completely engulfed in this new world, fueled by a desire to lend a hand. Between servings of soup and handing out snacks, their friendship blossomed. They shared moments of laughter, stories of dreams, and touched upon struggles that resonated deeply with him. The warmth Ella exuded rekindled memories of his own childhood, where his mother's unwavering love had been the anchor in chaos. But just as Jake felt his armor cracking, a sweet voice cut through the air. Little Lucas, Ella's son, stared up at him with wide, innocent eyes. "Are you my father?" The room fell silent. Those 4 words sliced through Jake's heart like a hot knife, unraveling his sense of self. Panic coursed through him. Could he be something he never wanted to be? Could he be the man who abandoned a child, just like that? A flood of memories surged. A father he barely knew, a legacy unclaimed. Jake's journey wasn't just about reconnecting with his roots, it was about confronting secrets that had long been buried. He didn't know it yet, but little Lucas would challenge him in ways he never anticipated. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Jake stood at an emotional crossroads, torn between a life smothered in success and the growing call of understanding his own fractured identity. What lay ahead was a journey into the depths of fatherhood, responsibility, and self-discovery. Before he could grasp it fully, he realized the line between wealth and legacy blurred in ways he never imagined. Could he rise above his fears and embrace a truth that had the power to transform him? As the answers danced tantalizingly close, Jake stood at the precipice, staring into an uncertain future. Jake's heart raced, a wild thump echoing in his chest. He swallowed hard, caught off guard by the innocent, unguarded question of a child. "Are you my father?" It echoed in his mind, reverberating against the walls of the life he thought he had built so carefully. Ella glanced at Jake, her expression morphing from surprise to concern. She knelt beside Lucas, gently running her fingers through his hair. "Lucas, sweetheart," she began, but Jake raised a hand, silencing her. This wasn't just about them anymore. With a shaky breath, Jake knelt in front of Lucas, mirroring Ella's tender embrace of the boy. "Why do you think I could be your father?" he asked, curiosity battling with the panic swirling inside him. Lucas blinked innocently, as if the answer was simple and clear. "Because you're nice." And you have a car, he said, his eyes bright with hope. The pure, unfiltered faith in the little boy's voice struck Jake like an arrow. Was that really all it took? A smile, a gesture, and some shared moments? Jake forced a smile back, a pained one that felt like a thin veneer over a deeper turmoil. I'm glad you think I'm nice. But I'm not. He trailed off, unsure of how to finish that thought, afraid of what he might say and what truths would tumble out. Jake. Ella's voice was cautious, the weight of her gaze heavy on him. You don't have to explain now. But the question had opened a door, one that could not easily be closed. Memories of his past, the tightness of his own childhood flooded in. The absence of a father left an echo in his heart, one he brushed away with lavish parties and endless pursuits of success. Maybe we should think about what we want to be for this kid, he murmured, more to himself than to them. Ella looked at him, her eyes searching. That's not an easy question for either of us. As they stood together, the weight of the moment settled heavily in the room. The laughter and lightness they had shared moments before faded into a serious silence. The pantry buzzed with other volunteers, yet in this tiny bubble, it felt like the world shrunk to just the three of them. Does it scare you? Lucas asked suddenly, his innocent eyes searching Jake's. The honesty and clarity in the boy's question pierced through Jake's bravado. Yes, Jake admitted quietly, looking directly into Lucas's eyes. It really does. But it also makes me think. Think about what? The child's small voice seemed to fill the air with ease, and Jake could feel a shift happening within him. Maybe he could think about what it meant to truly be a father, to embody responsibility not just in title but in action. About how you and your mom need someone. And that maybe I could help, Jake said hesitantly, feeling the notion of being part of their lives for the first time. He glanced at Ella, seeking affirmation. I mean, if you'd let me. Ella's eyes softened, a glimmer of something hopeful flickering in them. It's not just about helping, Jake. It's about being there. Are you ready to be there? He hesitated. Could he commit to something so massive, so life-altering? But before he could consider it further, a thought struck him, disrupting the moment entirely. Why did you ask if I was your father? He pressed back, still wanting to understand that child's viewpoint. Lucas bounced on his toes, a smile breaking through his earlier uncertainty. I just want to know, because then I wouldn't feel alone. Jake's breath caught, and the child's longing clung to his heart like ivy. Could he really fill the void for this little boy? As they stood there, a storm of emotions swirled inside Jake. He realized he couldn't run from this moment, nor from the feelings it stirred. They were all craving something more: connection, love, family. The potential loomed before him like the dawn. He could step into a role that scared him but also fulfilled him in ways he never thought possible. But what would be the price of that commitment? Could he handle the intensity that came with addressing his own devastating past while trying to shape someone else's future? A sense of purpose ignited within him, just as uncertainty loomed larger. And as Jake looked at Ella and Lucas, he knew the journey was just beginning. Would he embrace the path toward fatherhood or retreat yet again into the safety of success? The answer lay just around the corner, waiting to unfold. The air was thick with unspoken words, each glance between Jake and Ella a delicate dance of hope and hesitation. Jake continued to kneel, still feeling the warmth of Lucas's small hands clasping his. It was surreal, both tender and terrifying. Lucas, Ella finally said, breaking the hush that had settled like dust. Why don't we go grab some cookies? You know, the big chocolate chip ones. The boy's face lit up at the mention of cookies. Can I have two? He asked, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Only if you promise to share one with me, Ella teased, and despite his uncertainty, Jake felt a small part of him ease at the sight of her smile. Okay. Lucas exclaimed, ready to bolt. He hopped up, tugging on Ella's hand. Come on, Mom. Ella shot Jake a look that was almost pleading as she followed Lucas toward the pantry door. They disappeared from view, leaving Jake alone with resounding silence. The chaos of the food pantry, a kaleidoscope of movement, laughter, and voices, felt distant now. He raked his fingers through his hair, staring blankly at the floor. Everything felt overwhelming and chaotic in his mind. Could he be what Lucas needed? Could he fulfill that small boy's wish for a father? Suddenly, a voice broke through his thoughts, a familiar one. Jake. It was Sam, a fellow volunteer he'd known for years. You okay? You look like you just saw a ghost. Jake flashed a half-hearted smile. Yeah, just thinking. Sam leaned against a crate, arms crossed. Thinking about what? You're not leaving, are you? Leaving? Jake blinked. No, I was just caught off guard by something Lucas said. Oh. What did he say? He asked if I was his father. As soon as the words left his mouth, he felt the weight of them settle heavy in the air. Sam's eyes widened, his brows knitting together in contemplation. Whoa. You know that kid's been through some stuff, Sam said softly. Doesn't he have a dad around, huh? That's what I've gathered. Jake sighed, rubbing his temples. I think he's just trying to find some stability, Sam added, his voice gentle. It's crazy how kids see simple things, they just want someone to care. Jake considered this, his heart racing again. Lucas had seen something in him. The thought made him feel both humbled and terrified. But I'm not ready to be a dad, I don't even know how. None of us really do, Sam said, a hint of laughter in his voice. But you can still be someone he looks up to. You don't have to have all the answers, Jake. Just be there. A knot formed in Jake's throat as Sam's words sunk in. They echoed a truth he had been dancing around. Maybe being there was enough. Maybe that was the first step toward filling that void. At that moment, Ella and Lucas returned, each holding a cookie in hand. Lucas's face glowed with excitement, crumbs already dusting his chin. I saved you one. He declared, holding it out as if it were the most precious thing in the world. Jake's heart swelled at the gesture. Thank you, buddy. Ella observed the exchange with a knowing smile. You have good taste in cookies, Lucas, she said, nudging her son lightly. As the three of them gathered around, sharing laughter and morsels of cookie, Jake felt a flicker of something he hadn't truly grasped before, connection. Maybe it was possible to shape this false sense of fatherhood, one simple moment at a time, but even as he bit into the sweetness of the cookie, uncertainty lingered. He couldn't deny the question that weighed on him like an anchor. What did it truly mean to be there? His gaze drifted to Ella, who was now watching him with an expression that was part hope, part concern. It was as if she understood the internal battle he was facing. Could he step up to protect their little family, to take on whatever challenges lay ahead? Before he could voice his thoughts, Lucas chimed in, his voice innocent and filled with youth. Will you come see me play soccer next week, Jake? Jake paused. He felt the world shift again. This was a turning point, simple and profound. In that moment, as all eyes turned to him, Jake could either let this new life pull him in or shy away. Yeah, I'll be there, he said, his own voice surprising him with its steadiness. And as Ella smiled wider, Jake's heart raced anew, not from fear, but from a budding sense of purpose. But as they continued the day, somewhere deep within him, another question began to stir. What did this commitment mean for his life, his future? And most importantly, was he truly ready to stop hiding behind a facade and step into something real? It was time to find out. The following week crept in slowly, a bittersweet reminder of the promise Jake made. The sun rose high above the town, casting a warm glow that splashed across the neighborhood. Jake stood at the edge of the soccer field, nervous energy coursing through him. Children scampered in every direction, the air filled with joyful shouts and the rhythmic thump of a soccer ball being kicked that he almost talked himself out of coming, finding plausible excuses in the moments leading up to the game. But something, maybe his promise, maybe the look in Lucas's eyes, had pulled him here. He knew it was important. For Lucas, for Ella, and perhaps for himself too. As he looked around, it didn't take long for Lucas to spot him. The boy's face lit up like a Christmas tree, and he ran toward Jake like he was the last piece of candy in a giant bag. "Jake! You made it!" Jake knelt down to meet him, their faces level. "Wouldn't miss it for the world, buddy. Are you ready to show them how it's done?" Lucas beamed. "I'm gonna score 5 goals. 5? Wow, look out, world. I can't wait to see that." They both laughed, and for that brief moment, the anxiety that weighed on Jake felt lighter. Ella approached, arms crossed with a friendly smile on her face. "Hey there, super volunteer. Ready for your first soccer match?" "I'm just here to cheer him on," Jake replied, trying to play it cool. But his heart thudded louder with each passing second. "Right," Ella teased lightly. "You're not going to join in?" "No way. I'm the backup plan." They shared a laugh, and Jake sensed a warmth growing between them. It felt natural, easy, unlike anything he'd felt in a long time. He took a deep breath, grounding himself in the moment. As the whistle blew, the game began, sending kids darting across the field. Jake found himself screaming encouragement, his voice blending in with the other parents. Every goal Lucas almost scored sent his heart racing. The boy was filled with pure joy, swerving around fellow players, his laughter rising above the din each time Lucas took the ball. Jake could feel the weight of being there settle deeply. It wasn't so much about the big gestures or promises he thought he needed to fulfill, it was simply being present. It was being a part of something bigger than himself, something good. Ella stood beside him, occasionally glancing over with a proud smile. She cheered loudly for Lucas, and Jake felt the connection between them tighten. It was comforting, sharing this small moment of joy. As the game progressed, Lucas scored a goal, the loud cheers erupting from players and parents alike. The boy's face lit up with sheer delight as he ran toward Jake, arms outstretched. "Did you see me? Did you see me? I saw you, Lucas. You were amazing." Jake lifted him high in the air, spinning him around. Laughter echoed off the field, and for the first time in a long time, Jake felt truly free. But then, amid the celebration, a flicker of doubt crossed his mind. What if this was just a fleeting moment? What if he couldn't keep this up? As if sensing his turmoil, Ella turned to him, her expression serious yet gentle. "You really are good with him, you know," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake's heart raced again. "I hope so. But what if I mess this up?" "Then you learn and you try again. That's what we do." Her words dug deep, stirring that tumultuous mix of hope and fear within him. In that moment, he realized that the only way to truly ensure he didn't disappoint them was to embrace the uncertainty and move forward. As Lucas danced back and forth, reliving his goal, the vibrant laughter and excitement around them cascaded into Jake's consciousness. But even as happiness wrapped around them, he couldn't shake the thought that nagged in the back of his mind. What would happen if he started to feel more than just an obligation? If he truly embraced this role of being in Lucas's life, just as the game wound down to an end, and the cheers subsided, Jake knew that the next step awaited him, a step he couldn't ignore. What if he allowed himself to hope for more? Opening a door that might change everything, once and for all. The moment of truth lingered, and with it, the question remained, could he really allow himself to become part of their family? And if he did, would he be ready for everything that came with it? The sun dipped low in the sky, painting the horizon with shades of orange and pink as the soccer game wrapped up. Jake still felt the thrill of having witnessed Lucas's unfiltered joy through the whole match. But now, as the laughter faded into murmurs and the kids started to mingle, a new feeling surfaced within him, an aching blend of longing and apprehension. Lucas bounded over, his cheeks flushed and eyes sparkling, filled with excitement over the day. "Did you see me score again? 2 goals. He bounced on his feet, beaming with pride that was downright infectious. I did. You were unstoppable, champ. Jake responded, his smile genuine. But as joy twinkled in Lucas's eyes, Jake felt a familiar tightness in his chest. Ella appeared, her presence like a soft breeze. He really was amazing. I'm so proud of him, she said, standing close to Jake. The easy camaraderie they had started to build felt pleasantly familiar, but it set off a storm of confusion in his heart. Why did it feel so light with her? Why was he so scared at the same time? They moved a little away from the crowd as the kids began to pack up. Lucas darted off to find his friends, leaving Jake and Ella in a comfortable silence that soon deepened. Ella looked out at the horizon, needle-thin clouds streaking across the sky, then turned back to him. Are you okay? Jake hesitated, the weight of her question pressing down on him. I mean, today was great. Really great. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration bubbling under his skin. But I don't know. I feel like I'm on a tightrope over a canyon, and I'm scared I might fall. Ella crossed her arms, her expression shifting to one of understanding. You're not alone, you know. Lucas looks up to you. It's not just about being there for him, there's a space for you in this family if you want it. Her words wrapped around his heart, squeezing it gently. A family? The word echoed in his mind, triggering a rush of emotions he hadn't let himself acknowledge yet. I want to, he finally admitted, his voice cracking slightly. I want to be there for both of you, but what if the what-ifs were legion? What if he wasn't enough? What if he hurt them more than he helped? Ella's eyes softened, catching his gaze. Then we figure it out together. That's what family does. The sincerity in her voice struck a chord deep within. He saw visions of laughter, shared meals, small moments of joy where love blossomed in the most unexpected places. Yet, that nagging fear still clung to him like a shadow. Can I really be a part of that? Jake whispered, uncertainty etched across his face. In response, Ella stepped forward, her gaze unwavering. You don't have to decide everything right this second. Just take it one day at a time. Her voice, like a bomb, eased some of the weight on his chest. At that moment, Lucas reappeared, drawing Jake's attention. Jake! I want to show you something. He grabbed Jake's hand, tugging him toward a cluster of children gathered around. As warmth spread through him at Lucas's excitement, Jake felt Ella's gaze linger on him, filled with promise and possibility. Maybe the path ahead was not as daunting as he imagined. Maybe it was filled with hope, laughter, and the ordinary magic of a family, but just as that thought glimmered with light, a distant shout broke through the moment, a child's voice echoing loud and panicked. Mom! Where are you? The urgency resonated through the air, jolting Jake's focus. He turned to Ella, concern flashing in her eyes as they both moved toward the source of the commotion. What was going on? As they approached the group, Jake's heart began to race again, a worried beat echoing in his ears. Whatever awaited them could change everything. What was happening? Who needed help? And would it bring them closer together or push them apart? The moment Jake and Ella reached the center of the crowd, the chaos snapped like a stretched rubber band, releasing a flurry of emotions that hung heavy in the air. The kids had formed a loose circle around a small girl, no more than 6 or 7, tears streaking down her cheeks. Her little hands were trembling as she searched wildly for the familiar face of her mother. Mommy! She cried out again, her voice cracking, her panic tangible. The sound made Jake's heart twist. Hey, it's okay, Ella kneeled beside her, her voice soothing. What's your name? Lily, the girl sniffled, rubbing her eyes with the back of her hand. The sight of her distress struck a chord deep within Jake. Where did you last see your mom, Lily? Jake asked, his voice gentle but firm. He wasn't just standing there anymore, something shifted inside him. He had to help. By the swings she pointed, glancing back towards the playground area, her little fingers quaking. She said she'd be right there. Okay, let us go see if we can find her, Jake assured, shared determination igniting in his chest. He felt Ella's hand touch his arm lightly, and he caught her eye. They both understood without words the urgency of the moment. As they began moving, Jake felt a sense of purpose take over. He took the lead, with Ella beside him and Lily's small hand clasped tightly in his. A nagging voice of fear murmured at the back of his mind, what if they didn't find Lily's mom? Yet, he pushed it down. Helping this child felt important. They approached the swings, their footsteps quickening. Kids giggled and squealed around them like a song, but Jake's focus was solely on Lily's face as she searched desperately. He couldn't help but find similarities to Lucas, that same hopeful innocence now tinged with panic. Mommy! Lily called again, her voice reverberating against the fading light. Jake scanned the area, a mix of hope and anxiety churning in his stomach. Just then, he spotted a woman weaving through the crowd, her expression shifting from confusion to shock as she locked eyes with Lily. Lily! She yelled, urgency flooding her voice. She sprinted toward them, arms extended, and wrapped the little girl in a warm embrace. Jake felt a rush of emotion watching the reunion. Sweet relief washed over him as Lily's cries turned to giggles, muffled by her mother's shoulder. Ella stood beside him, tears glistening in her eyes, reflecting the beauty of the moment. But with that beauty, a lingering feeling tugged at Jake. He turned to Ella, slightly breathless. What if I can't be that comfort for Lucas? He confessed, the thought escaping him without warning. What if one day he's lost and I'm not enough? Ella's hand found his, steady. Jake, she said softly, her voice dripping with understanding. You're already doing it. It's not about being perfect. It's about being there, and you are right now. The warmth of her grip steadied him. In that moment, standing beside her, watching the joy spread between Lily and her mother, Jake began to see what she meant. The fears that once seemed all-consuming were starting to fade, each moment of connection weaving a thread of resilience within him. But as they turned to leave, Lily's mother shouted out, her voice laced with panic. Wait! I think I left my phone here. Jake's heart froze. There it was again, the unresolved thread of uncertainty. Just when he thought they were safe, there was more fear rippling through the air. What if that phone contained something that shook their world all over again? Ella, maybe we should help, Jake started, thinking about what they might uncover. Yes, Ella said, her eyes sparkling with resolve. Let us find out what has been left behind. As they moved back into the crowd, a question hung thick in the air, what would their search reveal? The crowd began to shift again, people moving aside, eyes still glancing toward the mother and daughter. Jake and Ella maneuvered through the sea of legs, holding tight to the urgency of their task. Where could it be? Jake murmured, feeling the weight of unspoken fears. What if it got lost in the chaos? Ella tightened her hold on his hand. Try to stay focused. We can do this. Just then, Jake caught sight of something glinting near the edge of the playground, behind a discarded soda can and a half-buried soccer ball. He felt a flicker of hope. There. That might be it. He quickened his pace, reaching the spot and bending down. With a sudden rush of relief, he picked up the phone. It was surprisingly heavy, the dark screen shimmering under the fading sunlight. As he stood, Ella was already next to him, her expression shifting from determination to concern. What if it has something sensitive on it? She asked quietly. Jake swallowed hard. We can't just look without knowing what's on it. Let us check the contacts first. He tapped the screen, praying it would unlock. It sprang to life, bright and responsive, illuminating their faces for a brief moment. The first thing Jake noticed was a little girl's picture, squinting at the camera, mouth open in laughter. Was this Lily? Clicking through, he found dozens of photos from birthday parties, school plays, and family outings. Every snapshot rang with joy, a love-filled history. Wow! Ella breathed softly, peering over his shoulder. This is beautiful. But as they scrolled, the beaming images turned awkward. There were a few messages between Lily's mom and a man, the tone shifting dramatically. Words like truth, hidden, and can't believe leaped out at them. Jake's heart raced. Ella, listen, this isn't just a phone. She might not be the only one who feels lost here. His fingers trembled as he scanned the texts, piecing together emotions that didn't belong just to the mother and daughter. I think there is something more, he whispered, feeling the gravity of his discovery. If she was hiding something from someone, what if it ties back to us? Ella's gaze flickered with unease. What if this revelation is about the last time Lucas saw his mother? What if it puts us all in danger? Jake's stomach churned at the thought. We have to bring this to her. Before either of them could move, Lily's mother approached, her anxiety still etched on her face. She seemed to sense the change in the air. Did you find it? She asked, breathless. Jake exchanged a quick glance with Ella, knowing they had a decision to make. They could hand her the phone and risk unleashing whatever turmoil it contained. Or they could dig deeper, unveiling secrets that might bind or shatter their grief-stricken lives. Yes. But Jake hesitated, the weight of impending truths rolling in his mind. We might need to talk first about what's on it. Lily's mom locked eyes with them, and in that moment, Jake realized the look of fear he saw wasn't just for her lost item. It was fear of her past being unknowingly exposed, fear that perhaps, they were all entangled in a much larger, undisclosed narrative. Okay, she said slowly, apprehension lacing her voice. What do you mean? As Jake opened his mouth to respond, he could feel the air thicken with unspoken possibilities. The truth they were facing felt monumental. What could they unravel if they chose to dig deeper? And standing there, with the phone trembling between them, a question hung heavily in the air: who were they really helping, and what would it cost them to find out? The silence stretched, heavy with anticipation. Jake's mind raced. What could they say to Lily's mom that would prepare her for the storm brewing beneath the surface of her life? He glanced at Ella, the worry in her eyes mirrored his own. There are some messages on this phone, Jake said carefully. They might be important. Sensitive, too. He took a breath, steadying his nerves. This was not just about finding a lost phone. It felt like they were holding a key to something that could change everything. Lily's mom's expression shifted again, this time blending desperation with curiosity. Messages? From who? A man, Ella interjected softly, someone named Greg. The name hung between them, heavy with implication. What else? The tremor in Lily's mother's voice was unmistakable. Jake hesitated, searching for the right words. They talk about things being hidden, the truth about Lily's life. It might explain why she's been so distant. He didn't know how much to reveal, how much weight the woman could carry. Lily's mother's face paled, and she stumbled back slightly, as if struck. No, that can't be, she mumbled, shaking her head. Lily's just going through a phase. Kids bounce back, right? Her voice wavered, any strength she had dissolving. Ella stepped forward. We don't want to upset you. But if there is something going on, if she is hiding things, it's better to know, for both your sakes. What are you saying? Lily's mom sounded defensive now, clutching her arms close, as if that could ward off the onslaught of uncertainty rushing toward her. We just want to make sure she is okay, Jake said gently, wishing he could ease the burden that was clearly weighing her down. He realized they were peeling back layers. A mother's love, a daughter's pain, and now this mystery man potentially ruining everything. She sunk to the edge of the nearest bench, running a trembling hand through her hair. I had hoped maybe, it was all in her head, she whispered, the weight of the world evident in her voice. Sometimes kids act out when they feel trapped, or scared, Ella added, her tone compassionate but firm. Do you want more clarity, or to keep it all buried? Because hiding could hurt her more. I need to know. The admission slipped from Lily's mom, her hands now covering her face as sobs broke through. I thought I was protecting her. Jake felt a rush of empathy. He stepped forward, reaching out to rest a hand on her shoulder. You're doing the best you can. But if there's more, this might be the key to understanding what's really going on. There was a moment of stillness, the world around them fading into a distant hum. A shared understanding wrapped them all like a fragile cocoon. What if the truth changes everything? Her voice trembled, laced with fear. Maybe we can take it step by step. We'll be right here with you, Ella reassured her, but beneath their resolve lay an unspoken question: what if finding out the truth opened up a Pandora's box they weren't prepared to handle? Suddenly, a distant scream broke through the air, cutting through the tense moment like a jagged knife. Jake turned instinctively toward the sound, his heart racing. What was that? Ella looked quickly between him and Lily's mother, panic flashing across her face. We should check it out, it could be, but before she could finish, another shriek echoed, sharper this time, followed by the cries of sobs and frantic voices. I'll go, Jake said, adrenaline taking over. He looked back at Lily's mom. Stay here, we'll be right back. As he ran toward the source of the commotion, he felt a heaviness pervading the air, a sense that whatever they were about to uncover could change everything for them all. What awaited them at the edge of the playground? And how many more secrets were lurking, just waiting to be exposed? Jake pushed his way through the crowd that had gathered, his heart pounding as the screams reverberated in his mind. He could barely process the sight before him. A small cluster of kids stood around something on the ground. Their faces were a mix of shock and fear, voices raised in frantic confusion. Let us see what's going on. He called to Ella, who followed closely behind, urgency written across her face. As he neared the scene, he spotted a little boy, no older than 8, sprawled on the ground, crying uncontrollably. His friends were clustered around him, unsure of what to do. The sight sent a wave of panic through Jake. What had happened? Hey, buddy. Jake crouched down beside the boy. What is going on? Are you hurt? The boy shook his head violently, tears streaming down his cheeks. My dog, he ran away. He's gone. As the boy's words sunk in, a wave of collective gasps rose from the onlookers. The sentiment shifted from fear to a shared concern. Jake could feel the heaviness of the moment shift again. This wasn't just about a lost dog, it was a child's palpable heartbreak. I saw him. One of the boy's friends said, pointing towards a patch of trees bordering the playground. He bolted that way. Ella stepped in close, her voice soothing. We can help, okay? Where did you last see him? But the boy was too far gone in his worry, kicking at the dirt, his panic escalating. Jake glanced around at the gathering group. People were starting to whisper among themselves, some looking uncertain, others exchanging glances. It was a mix of dread and empathy. Look, Jake said firmly, we can make a plan. We'll search together. No one likes seeing their best friend lost. He offered a comforting smile, willing the boy to believe him. Just then, Lily's mother appeared at the edge of the crowd, her expression etched with both desperation and resolve. She stepped up beside Jake. What happened? She asked breathlessly. A dog's gone missing, Ella explained, her voice steady. We can help find him, but we need everyone's eyes on lookout. The boy turned, his sad eyes fixating on the adults. Can you really help? Absolutely, Lily's mom replied, kneeling beside him. We'll all help you. Let us get your dog back. With a newfound hope kindling in the boy's eyes, the group began to mobilize. Jake could see Lily's mom shaking off her earlier despair, her nurturing instincts kicking in full throttle. As they scoured the surrounding area, every shadow pulled at Jake's nerves. He kept glancing sideways at Ella, who was now leading a group toward the tree line. Stay close. Call out if you see him. Ella shouted, her voice strong against the backdrop of rustling leaves. Jake felt a renewed sense of purpose coursing through him, something much bigger than the search and the weight of Lily's mother's sorrow. Perhaps, just maybe, this event could unify them all. An unsuspecting bond forged between worry and empathy unfurled amid the chaos. Suddenly, a high-pitched bark pierced the air, cutting through the tension like a ray of light. Jake's heart leaped. "Did you hear that?" he exclaimed. The boy froze, staring back toward the sound. "That's Buddy." With a burst of energy, they all sped toward the sound, hearts racing with hopeful anticipation. In the dimming light of the playground, hope and fear collided, all of them yearning for the same thing, a reunion, a moment of healing. But as they rounded the corner of the trees, Jake's breath caught in his throat. What lay ahead would force them to confront not just lost dogs but lost truths. What would they find? Could they really handle the hidden revelations lurking just beneath the surface? Jake pushed through the thicket of trees, branches tugging at his clothes. The air felt electric, charged with urgency and determination. It wasn't just about the dog anymore, it was about every broken piece they each carried. He could see Ella and Lily's mother pushing ahead, calling out, their voices grounding him in a moment that felt both chaotic and intimate. Suddenly, there it was, a small golden figure, wagging its tail wildly, darting between the trees. "Buddy!" the little boy cried, a mixture of surprise and elation flooding his features. He sprinted forward, arms outstretched, ready to embrace his best friend. As the boy knelt down, scooping Buddy into his chest, tears streamed down his dirt-smeared cheeks, but now they were tears of joy. A ripple of cheers spread through the crowd behind them. Jake felt his chest swell, a warmth spreading through him as he caught Ella's eye. She mirrored his joy, relief pouring in waves over her face. Lily's mother was already crouched beside the boy, comforting him, a calming presence at this moment that had transformed their fears into happiness. In that instant, everything felt right. They were all part of something larger than themselves, the love of a child, the strength of community. Jake took a step back, watching them enveloped in laughter. But the echo of that boy's earlier panic still clung to him. It reminded him that all their lives bore scars hidden beneath layers of daily existence. They needed healing together. "Jake!" Ella's voice pulled him into the present as she approached. "You were amazing out there." She looked radiant, her own spirit glowing from the collective joy around them. "You really helped those kids." "I was just following your lead," he admitted, his heart pounding for more than just exertion. It felt good to do something that mattered. Her smile brightened, but then slowly faded, replaced by a look of contemplation. "You know, you're already making a difference in Lucas's life, too." The weight of her words pressed upon him. Could he handle being the person they needed? The thought of truly committing felt like a dance on a precarious edge. "I wish I could be the kind of dad he deserves," he confessed quietly. Ella reached out, touching his arm. "You are that dad. Just being here shows him he's loved. Remember, it's about the moments, not perfection." He nodded, but the fear lingered. What if he let them down? Just then, the sound of laughter erupted into the air as Lucas rushed over, Buddy still in the boy's arms, his joy infectious. "Did you see me find Buddy? We did it." "Of course. You didn't give up at all." Jake chuckled, relishing the boy's excitement. "I knew you were a champion." It felt like magic watching their bond deepen. But then he noticed something, the brief crestfallen glance Lucas shot him before his smile returned, as if gauging Jake's reaction. It struck a nerve, a reminder of the responsibility he felt press against his heart. Jake took a deep breath, bending down to meet Lucas's gaze. "I want you to know something, Buddy," he said with earnestness swirling within him. "I'm here for you, no matter what. You can count on me." Lucas's smile widened, laughter lighting up his face once more. "Really? You promise?" "I promise," Jake assured, his own heart swelling with conviction. For the first time, he believed in his resolve to stand tall, not just as a man seeking redemption but as someone eager to embrace a family, packed with love and imperfections. A wave of emotions washed over the small gathering. They were starting to find their way, to forge connections that mattered. And for the first time, Jake felt like this new life he was stepping into could be more than just a second chance. It could be a lifelong journey filled with joy, love, and purpose. Together, we can face whatever life throws at us, Ella added, positioning herself beside Jake as they watched the kids play. The warmth of back-to-back standing felt like a promise in itself. As laughter rang around him, Jake smiled wider than he ever thought he could, the sun dipping low in the sky yet casting warmth into his and Lucas's newly forging bond. It was a commitment wrapped in hope, nestled in the reality of their uncertainties. And in that powerful moment, Jake realized that while the uncertainties might never fully disappear, the love they were planting would serve as a guiding light forward. He wasn't just stepping into a role, he was embracing the essence of family, a tapestry of messy moments, laughter shared, and connections that would weather every storm life would send their way. Let this be the beginning. This is the moment to embrace the love you create every day, and I need you to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this emotional ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now, don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.